In our first task, we create a shader file which takes a single matrix, that is pre-computed world view and projection matrix, and generates a cube. We leave the shader file here. In our second task, we use the same shader file and create 5 cubes at different locations, but for every cube we send only one matrix to the shader file. In our next task, we create a pyramid, textured pyramid with this code. We set the texture UV coordinates here. We load the texture. Here's the pyramid with a texture. In our next task, we create a cube which has texture or subtextures from a texture file, cube faces, and every face has a different subtexture corresponding to front, left, right, back, top and bottom. In our next task, we create a shader file, shader texture, that is a class file, a texture class file which handles all the textures, all the work of texture file and manipulation and updations in the code. This is the init demo, because now everything is done in the texture class, shader texture and shader texture.h. In our next task, we apply various textures to the cube, but we get this result instead of the texture. This is because we are sending only the color using the unit box. We are sending the color. And so when it jumps into the code, it goes to void set and it sets the UV coordinates to 0. Now the vertex has UV coordinate 0, that's why we get this color. When we change the texture, for this texture file, the 0, 0 UV coordinates are white, so we get a white cube. In our further work too, we have already done a performance test. In this first frame rate which we are getting, when we always send the camera world and camera view and projection matrix and the world matrix again and again, in our next image we get 136 as the frame rate, because we send only the world matrix again and again. We send only once the camera matrix, that is the view and projection matrix. In our next task, we get the similar result, because we are sending a single matrix, that is but we pre-compute view into projection matrix every time. And in the next task, we are getting a slight increase in the frame rate, because we are sending only single matrix, but we are computing view and projection only once, not every loop. And in the last, we get a very high bump in our frame rate. This is because we are setting immediate context only once, which gives us a very high frame rate.